Beyond Crazy, Dr. Graeme Cunningham on self-help groups. He is a patient Dr. Graeme Cunningham will never forget. His name was Rick, and he walked in for an appointment on an otherwise ordinary day looking jaundiced and bloated and unusually unwell. Blood work confirmed what Cunningham already suspected: liver damage. He called him back to discuss the results. I said, "You know you've got cirrhosis. How's your drinking?" And he said, "Pretty heavy." And I said, "You've got to quit." Thinking to myself, "You poor bastard." The pity he felt wasn't due to his patient's condition. It was because this unfortunate man would not be able to drink anymore. Poor unlucky fellow, Cunningham was thinking. How horrible and empty and pitiful his life would be without alcohol. Sobriety was something the physician could not imagine, because the good doctor, you see, had himself been struggling with alcohol for years. He was also in serious denial, just like his father had been. My father was a family doctor, and he would drink a bottle of gin a day for almost as long as I can remember. And between the mid-1950s and his death in 1975, he never really drew a sober breath, says Cunningham, speaking with a crisp Scottish accent that more than 3 decades in Canada has softened only slightly. Not only was his father alcoholic, but the disease made him violent, abusive, and unpredictable, capable of erupting at any time and for any reason. Sometimes he'd lash out against his wife, using words or fists, or a withering combination of both. On other occasions, the children, including Graeme, would be the target of his fury. It was not a healthy household. The message I got there was: don't talk, don't trust, don't love, don't share, don't even necessarily be honest if it doesn't suit you. If you want something, get it, be violent. It's absolutely okay to punch, it's absolutely okay to kick, it's absolutely okay to beat people up. He also felt frustrated, seeing the connection between the booze and the constant mess at home. For a time, young Graeme would try to fix things by finding the bottles his father had stashed around the home. He would pour the contents down the sink again and again, hoping it would somehow make the problem go away. It never worked. There would always be more gin, or more punishment for having emptied a needed bottle. Given his distaste for his father's behavior, one might think Graeme would have steered clear of alcohol in any form. Problem is, addictions are so powerful and mystifying that they defy logic. Between genetics, several other male relatives drank heavily, suggesting the tendency was inherited. And the environment, chaotic and violent, Cunningham was at far greater risk than the average person for developing an addiction. At least, that's what science tells us now. Back when Graeme was 16, however, almost nothing was known about his complex field. But he certainly remembers, with crystalline clarity, the night he took his first drink. He'd found something so extraordinary that he recounts it, some 40 years later, with almost cinematic detail. I was 16. This girl's name was Brenda, as I recall. It was about 20 to 10 at night. The carpet was blue. The wallpaper was pale blue with little pink flowers on it. The tray was on top of the piano, which was a baby grand. It had a thistle emblem on it. There were 5 crystal glasses, and it was Johnny Walker Red Label. I took that stuff, and at that moment in time my intellect said, "This is the stuff that makes your old man the way he is. This is not smart, Graeme." But I thought, well, shit, I'm gonna try it anyway. So I took it, and I was the only one at the party drinking. And I'll never forget the sense of, all of a sudden, feeling what I thought was normal. I still don't know what normal is, but my insides felt like your outsides looked. So you look put together, you look relaxed, you look confident, whereas I usually felt a mess in here. And I took that scotch. I drank too much. I got sick. I went home. I threw up. I went to bed. I got up the next morning with a hangover. I'm still waiting for my mother to say, "How come you came home drunk last night?" She hasn't said it yet. Maybe she will. I don't know. But the memory of that reward was there. I've never ever had it that powerful since. The moment of that reward, it was profound. It was life-changing. During his early years of what he now knows was alcoholism, Graeme would drink what he calls beer properly. Meaning on Friday night you'd have a few beers with the boys, and on Saturday night, the big night out in Scotland, you'd get shit-faced. Sometimes it would be with his rugby pals, sometimes his fellow med students. No one suspected he had a problem because he was simply treating alcohol the way his mates did, with one difference. The med students I was hanging out with were drinking heavily too. What I didn't realize was that when we became interns, they all stopped, but I continued. When I had a day off and I had some money, I drank to intoxication.